And I only see you live in portrait.
It's live. It just mine just went.
It just went.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yep. I see it. Yep.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Good morning.
Doing wonderful. And you? Well, I guess you said already how you're doing.
Mhm. Me.
Is
Me.
that it? Nobody can hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, all right. Perplexed Mind says no sound to the left.
I hear you.
Oh, they do hear it. All right.
Hello, hello. See if you can hear Frostbyte. Let us know. Something. Mm, we can hear
Some
you
people can.
guys.
Some
Good
people no
morning. No
frosty
frosty
sound.
sound. Hmm.
How'd that happen?
What do you do all your background stuff through? The game and the little ticker. Hmm.
All right. David Carlisle says we can hear you.
Yeah, David said you can hear.
You can hear Frosty. Perplexed Mind says he can't.
Kevin said he can hear Frosty. Mrs. Coin Crew said
And Miss
no,
Coin Crew
no.
says no. Wow.
Yeah, this is a StreamYard issue, and this is something that has been reported quite frequently, where
Hmm.
the not everybody on panel can be heard. This is a known StreamYard issue, and this is one of the reasons I've been saying it for almost a month that I think that the issues that I've been having technical wise are StreamYard. It doesn't affect everybody, but the people who ran the initial update on StreamYard, which I'm an early adopter, I always try to do that.
Now they say they can hear you.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what is going on, but
Yeah, they
it,
can hear you now.
yeah, it's so I took control of my audio away from StreamYard and put it on Streamlabs OBS, and I have zero issue. So I 100% guarantee that my issues are coming from StreamYard. So I'm going to be canceling StreamYard next week. I'll open up another program,
Can you
and
uninstall it and like reinstall it or?
it's done through the web. It's not an app.
Um,
Um, but you can opt into programs. And so I'm going to move and go to uh, I'll just go to another program because
yeah.
it's aggravating. It's just not working. Now the question is how is the audio? Is it clear?
Sounds clear on my end, but you know how
Okay.
that works.
Well, yeah. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just alleviating the control of StreamYard. So StreamYard has no longer control over my microphone. You guys may lose the opportunity to hear me through StreamYard because I'm relieving my mic through StreamYard. So because I think what's trying to happen is StreamYard is trying to take over the camera and the microphone. Um, and so I've got resource sharing. StreamYard's trying to take it over. So um, hopefully that uh, the alleviation of that next week will resolve this. So I apologize for this morning. It's a little frustrating for me, but we will get this taken care of. I actually just change and do a single dial in. We'll get it. All right. Well, let's go ahead and bypass this and get back to
That was
the
a penny worth
discussion.
of thoughts for about StreamYards from Frosty.
Yeah, yeah. So again, the discussion today is to coin a phrase. And again, I apologize for the delay. We had to do this because trying to get my audio to work. I'm turning off my camera again. There's just some sort of sharing thing going on. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk a little bit about these phrases, and we talk about them quite a lot. But I was wanting to know if anybody really kind of understood any of the backing. So what I want to do is I want to open it up to chat first. And I want you to think of things that you've heard in our hobby. Uh, the one that I have that was the thumbnail was to coin a phrase. There are other ones like seasoned collector. What do those mean? Where did they come from? And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But what I would like you all to do in chat is to put some famous idioms that you have heard. For instance, waking up with the dead, carrying the bride over the threshold. What are some of those famous idioms that you have heard that you would like to know about? And we're going to kind of take about 30 minutes or so and dig into that. And then we're going to have another person come up on panel today, which is Mad Stacker. Mad Stacker is going to be coming up today, and we're going to be talking about the very last Premier Train. So the Premier Train has been going on for 4 years and it is ending. Today is the very last Premier Train. So he's going to come up, talk a little bit about the history of the Premier Train, and then we're going to send over everybody over to that. I think they got 13 people that have created videos for this final Premier Train. So that's going to be the agenda for today. Miss Coin Crew says 3 sheets to the wind. Paula, what about you? What kind
What
of
about
phrases
me?
like that do you like?
Oh my gosh. Um, I don't know.
Can't make heads or tails
Are
of
we
it.
doing coining phrases?
Coin ones would be best, but it doesn't have to necessarily be ones for coins.
Um, can't make heads or tails out of it.
That's what Eric just said in
Um,
chat.
oh, he
Um,
did?
yeah, well, no, it's perfect because that's one of the ones that I think Eric pulled up. Um, one of the other ones, when we're talking about to coin a phrase that I really enjoy, is looking at things like a penny for your thoughts,
Any for your thoughts? Yeah.
and what that entails. Hey, Steve, good morning. How are you? My 2 cents worth, right? Or those are kind of things that we're going to talk about today. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to talk about to coin a phrase. Is there anybody in chat who has an idea, without googling? Is there anybody in chat who would be or who has an idea of where that might have came from? A day late and a dollar short. That's another good one. I like that one, kid of mine. Yeah, AZ coins. I can tell you where that one came from, but
Hmm.
that came Marilyn Monroe, 7 Day Itch. That phrase is where that was coined. I can tell you exactly where that one came from.
And three sheets to the wind is a drunk sailor not tying the sail down properly.
That's correct. So we can talk about uh, old Navy ones, but again, when we're talking about um, things like to coin a phrase, actually came from Benjamin Franklin, and stems back to the minting of a coin, but it actually tied to something else, and that was to turn a phrase or to coin a phrase. Now, to turn a phrase was a way in which somebody would eloquently state something. So, if there was somebody who was good at turning a phrase, it was akin to somebody working on a lathe. And so, if you've ever done woodworking and you see somebody show me Stacker just subscribe. Thank you, show me. Show me exclamation point email. Get my email address and send me your information, and I will teach you and walk you through how to do the claim for the win yesterday. All right. So thanks for the sub, show me, but send me do the exclamation point email. Okay. Appreciate you coming in, bud. Um, But yeah, so it's Benjamin Franklin. And one thing, if you guys know Benjamin Franklin, he was very good at uh, quote unquote turning a phrase. But it had to do with woodworking. And so when you look back at colonial Virginia during that time frame, one of the things, even today, if you look at shows, and I know there's a couple people in here who like to watch this, Eric and Paula, you ever seen the Antiques Roadshow?
Did I ever see what?
The Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, fun show, right? They bring up a lot of cool things. Well, one of the things that you'll see a lot on there is colonial furniture. And when you're talking about late 16, early 1700s, one of the things that was really cool was that the creation of the lathe, the production use of the lathe here in the United States, was something that really took furniture making here in colonial Virginia and New Hampshire to two new levels. And so the advent of that helped people to really form some beautiful furniture. And from that came Benjamin Franklin's quote in one of his letters, and I can't remember which one it is, which was to turn a phrase. And from that, to coin a phrase was kind of adapted. Now, when they're talking about minting to coin a phrase, again, it's the same basic thing, which is you're basically minting, you're putting the design on it. So, hey, Eric, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate you, bud. David G, Gatita Oso, James Schultz, Bill Gibson, and Thomas tripped on a nickel. Please make sure you reach out to Eric and say thank you for the gifted memberships. I appreciate you. But it was really cool to be able to look at kind of the history of to turn a phrase and then again to coin a phrase. And again, this one to coin a phrase means to make something special, to put something uh, uh, in writing, to like trademark, to I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for. To it's like the establishment of that particular phrase. So it was a lot of fun to kind of look over that one. Eric, I asked you to look up a couple. Which ones did you stumble across?
Oh, I stumbled across a lot. We got squeeze a nickel. We have accept a wooden nickel.
So
And
except the
that
wood nickel,
is
where did that came from?
that, well, I'm not sure where it comes from, but it's referring to someone being conned. The wooden nickel is, the fake coin. And if you accept wooden nickels, it means you're easily fooled. The squeeze a nickel is just like penny pinching. Uh, Somebody's greedy with their coins, cheap, don't want to spend money. There's many, many, many more. And if you get into British coin phrases, there's a lot more. A lot of these did come from England. Earn an honest penny, work and earn money through legitimate work. That comes from England.
Right. Yeah, and I found the same thing. So, kid of mine, and we talked about this earlier. A penny saved is a penny earned was one that I was going to be talking about. That actually came from a book that was written in 1522. And when you look at the worth of a penny back then, a penny would buy, a loaf of bread and a portion of fish. So a penny had great worth. So when you talked about a penny for your thoughts, the implication behind that particular phrase was that you were considering their opinion, their discussion points as valid. You were taking time um, to really understand that there was value in what was being said. Um, now,
And that actually has multiple meanings. A penny for your thoughts. In the 40s and 50s, it was an easy way. Instead of going up to somebody that you knew had a problem and saying, "Hey, what's wrong?" You could say a penny for your thoughts, and
mhm.
hopefully they would open up to you for that.
Well, but
So
again, yeah.
that
So
changes during time.
yeah, but again, the whole premise behind that is that you're telling somebody that their thoughts are worth something to you.
Right.
Now, if you talk about, you actually think about a penny for your thoughts and inflation and what a penny is now, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. But one of the things I did in one of the shorts was, think about the time frames. If you were in San Francisco in 1909 and you said a penny for your thoughts, back then it might have meant one thing, but now in 1909 or 1909 VDB, that penny would be worth a lot more money. So the connotation in numismatics, some of these phrases mean more to coin collectors because there's an additional level um, of meaning behind it, right? So I wanted to kind of just talk about this because we were having a discussion and people were using some of these. Um, looks like $1 million. That's another one that's a fun one.
See you
Um,
on the flip side.
See,
Yeah.
yeah. So where did that come from? Like, I mean, you know,
Well, from the other side of the coin.
Ketamine has a good one.
Other side of the coin. See you on the flip side.
kid of mine said a number of them. Which one?
I don't want to say it on the air.
Money talks and bull crap walks.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So there's a number of these that are done. So is there one
Put your
in
money where
particular?
your mouth is.
Here you go. I like that one.
Perplexed mind. What is it? Well, getting one. I missed something. Did you all see or hear maybe new silver eagle with privy?
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard anything about a silver eagle with a privy mark on
Maybe 2026.
it.
Like the Maple Leaf series that they did, like the Maple Leafs.
I'm
Maybe.
just wondering if they're going to change, uh, do something for the 250-year deal.
Like the Liberty Bell.
Yeah.
I don't mind the Liberty Bell. But they could have done so many cool things with that. They kind of botched that one. I don't really like that the new designs. They could have had so many good opportunities with the 2026.
Cooking the books.
But,
That's a good one.
Look in the books. That is a good one. Yep.
so you want to talk about what that means?
I think it means burning the proof, doesn't it? Hiding, hiding,
Cooking the books,
changing. Yeah,
stacking the deck.
right.
Yeah. Pencil pushing.
It's a colloquial expression used in English talking about manipulating financial records.
hmm
The whole idea is usually undertaken by business people who make them look more financially successful. Oh, you're talking about economists.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Origin of the phrase. Let's see if we can find out what the origin of the phrase was. 18th century, Tobias Smollett, The Adventures of Peregrine Pickle, 1751, made the finance explicit. Some falsified printed accounts are fully cooked up on the premise that they mislead and deceive. So the phrase was coined, ding ding, in 1751 by Tobias Smollett. Very cool. So this is
That's
kind of
real.
what today's discussion was intended to be, which was kind of look at some of these famous things, look them up, find the history behind it, and do those chit chats. So if you guys are wanting to see another one, let's find another one and let's find its thing. So let's do. We did a penny for
You
your
look
thoughts.
like $1,000,000.
Look, okay, like
Now, is that calling somebody fat? It would be if it's like $1 bills. But if it was $100 bills, you'd be skinny, right?
I don't know, but I would like to see what $1,000,000 looks like.
I have seen $1,000,000,
I have
and
I have too.
it isn't as much as you think it is.
It is less. It depends on the bills. $100 bills, it's not a whole it's not I mean, it's not terribly huge.
Yeah, I saw it in 20s, and it was a fair amount of money, but it wasn't. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it in a World Series of Poker. Was when we were in where were we? Were we in Atlanta? No. Yeah, we were in Atlanta, and they were having. It wasn't the World Series of Poker, was it? I think it was. I think it was one of the items, and they had $1,000,000 sitting on one of the tables, and it was like, that just doesn't look like a lot of money. All right, the
There it
idiom
is.
emerged in the early 1900s. There's a period marked by significant economic fluctuation, roaring 20s, Great Depression. During this concept of having $1,000,000 was synonymous with immense wealth, success, and luxury. Stating that you look like $1,000,000 made it appear that you were either immensely wealthy, successful, or lived in the lap of luxury.
He who pays the piper calls the tune. That's a good one, Azer.
Money doesn't grow on trees. Yep.
So the coin was first phrased Thursday, 18 September 1902 at the Buffalo Evening News. And they said that the Burmites were out in force and they look like $1,000,000. I don't know what the Burnhamites are, but
Tighter than a frog's butt. Yeah.
what is it?
Tighter than a frog's butt. I like that one. It has part of my favorite word in it.
What, frog or
Frog?
butt?
But, but. Put your money where your mouth
Put your
is.
money where your mouth is. That's one that I like.
Yeah.
And that has to do with investing, right?
Put up
And
or shut up. That's what it has. Yeah.
put up or shut up, that's a little bit different.
It's the same thing as put your money where your mouth is. Put up or
No, put
shut
up
up.
or shut up are a little bit different though,
How?
because I've heard people say that wasn't intended in the same.
I think put your money where your mouth is an investment term. Somebody trying to sell somebody something.
Yeah.
Riding
So
the
the
gravy
expression.
train.
If it's used literal in the literal sense.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the expression was first appeared in America in the
But we're not talking
1930s.
literal. We're not speaking in
Well,
the literal
it's a
sense.
different generation. That's what I was saying.
Yep.
Generationally, a lot of the meanings of these have
Have
Yeah.
changed.
drifted.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
So the expression of this idiom came about where it means it's harder to do something, uh, where it's easy to talk about but harder to do.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, if a person keeps talking about something that they think is true but they do nothing to support it, someone might say, "Put your money where your mouth is."
Mm-hmm.
To laugh all the way to the bank. Another term's easy money.
Picking up the tab. I like that one. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys like this. This is just something that a lot of people in one of the conversations that I was having, they were talking about this, and I told them that I would do something fun. Again, Mad's going to be coming up here in a little while. We're going to be talking about the Premier Train. So just a little bit something different today. So hopefully you guys like this. It is American slang. The pick up the tab originated um, in the early 1900s. Oh, what happened? Oh, I don't want to buy that.
Good morning, Bo Palmer.
Oh, I hate it when I do that.
It just shows you how many of these idioms are related to money
Well, and that was one of the
or
things
coined
that
from money.
that was one of the things that was had in the discussion. So one of the questions that was had was, where do they all come from? And as you stated before, a lot of them stemmed from um, like pre-colonial English
Pre-America,
time, yeah,
yeah.
pre-America times, right? And so they come across and they change. Now there are some of them that we know, like from the 7 year itch, or whatever blows your skirt up, to something like pick up the tab, or which just simply means to pay the bill, because it used to not be called the bill when somebody would bring you your tab. It was actually a financier's term that was a list of items that you have purchased. That was your tab. Not to be confused with tab as in the drink. Um, I
Right.
think,
Well, a lot of that's from gold prospecting days. The miners had no money, so they ran tabs.
yeah, and it goes
And
back
the,
to the
the
old general
salesperson
store,
at the end
right?
of the month would tabulate what you owe and hand it to you.
Yep, and that was your tab.
Yep.
Um, it wasn't until later they started calling it a bill. Here's another one for you. This is one that's fun. Why do they call a bathroom a loo or a John? You guys know that?
Well, the John thing has to do with one of the potential inventors of the toilet, doesn't it? I believe. Yeah, the
If I
inventor
had
of
to guess
flushable
on that,
toilets
I
was
would say it has something to do with where you're at. If you're
the
in Paris,
inventor
it's
of
called the Louvre.
modern flushable toilets is Sir John Harrington. Hence the name flushing the toilet or the John.
Yep. Now, what about the loo?
The Louvre. Come on,
Yeah,
Googlers.
sure.
Let's go.
So this goes back to France.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
That's what I said. I said
Wha-
if you're in Paris, it's the Louvre. If you're in America, it's a John. I don't know.
It is from France.
It is.
It's the
So
Louvre.
they originally were cast iron cisterns. And what they would do is they derived around the French army, and the soldiers would favor a slang called "loup de assistance," which was rather a pleasant naming for a place of ease, or a place to to go do your business. It was a more proper way to say, "I'm going to go, drop the kids off at the pool,"
Yeah.
which is
Well,
Stir
then
another
the
you got
one.
beans.
the
I'm
crapper.
going to stir the beans.
Yeah, you got the crapper.
Yeah,
And
where to
everybody goes,
drop
why
the
is it
kids
called a
off at the
crapper? And
pool? I think that one everybody understands, right?
well, do you know why it's called the crapper? He's the one that added the trap in the bottom of the toilet so that the gas didn't come back up into the house.
The Crapper Trapper?
The Crapper. Thomas Crapper invented the
The
toilet that
crapper
had the
trapper.
ball cock in the tank instead of it having like a big pipe that you pulled like from a water closet type thing. And then he added the trap underneath it, so the water couldn't go both ways, so the gas couldn't go both ways.
It's the crapper trapper. That's funny.
Yeah, there's
And then the
a
head, you've got the head too, uh, and that was because all of the in a ship, the where you went was all the way at the front of the ship.
that's why they call it the poop deck.
Yep.
Yep. And actually, on old ships, when you actually look at the poop deck, there was a proper poop deck actually had two little stanchions that reached out that had holes cut in them.
Well,
And
that's what the head is. It's right at the front. It's a
yep,
toilet seat basically that is in front
yep,
of the ship, so it goes out and then goes underneath the ship.
yep.
So
Do you guys know the story behind My Name is Mud or Your Name is Mud?
I think I do. That has to do something with the Lincoln assassination, I believe.
Thomas Mudd and his engagement in it, even though he was proven not to be affected by that, and that he had actually no hand in the assassination plot. His name was ruined. And so back in the day, when somebody conveyed that a reputation was tarnished, they would say his name was Mudd, referring to Thomas Mudd, who was again assumed to be uh, part of the
And
Lincoln's
he was the
assassination
doctor
attempt.
that treated John Wilkes Booth, right?
Um, I
While he
think
wasn't
so.
involved in the assassination, he did treat a broken leg or something like that,
I don't
I
remember
believe.
what. I don't remember the entire story. I just remember that aspect of it. So yeah, I don't remember if he what his.
Uh, yes, he is a doctor. He was actually in prison for conspiring with John Wilkes Booth. Was a doctor and a tobacco farmer, and he treated him.
Yeah, but he was exonerated of that. He was
Right,
actually
right.
proved that he didn't
And
have
then he was
anything to
released.
do.
But
Yeah,
he was a conspirator because he treated Wilkes' broken leg.
but he wasn't actually. He had nothing to do with it. He was just a doctor doing what
Right.
doctors do.
That's right.
Yeah, and so, but again, his name was tarnished, and therefore, it became My Name is Mud. So, anyway, it's just one of those things that now My Name is Mud by Primus is a fun song too. If you've never heard that one, My Name is Mud. You guys know who Primus is?
Mm-mm.
Okay, um, Primus is a fun band. Anyway, so are you guys? Did you guys like this? I mean, is this something you guys found kind of interesting? Again, I know it's not necessarily one of my normal things, but again, when somebody asks a question and they're like, "Hey, what's the story behind this?" And then we, like I said, a number of us just got into a conversation, and it was, let's look at some of these. I just open it up to chat and just say, hey, let's do another one. Where is the headlight on a submarine? That's like sending people. Oh God, that's going to bring back some Navy times. We would send the brand new people on the ship down for 50 feet of fallopian tubing, or send people down for the keys to the sea chest, um, batteries for the sound-powered phone. Yeah, so there were a lot of Wild Goose Chase. That's a fun one.
Yep. Go find the left-handed smoke shifter. I don't know how many young kids fell for that.
What about the snipe chase?
The snipe. There's another one. It's going on a snipe hunt.
Yeah. So, wild goose chase stemmed from a figurative expression for an unproductive, pointless, or hopeless quest. Its origin dates back to the 1500s and described a follow a leader cross country horse ride where the riders fanned out behind the leader just like a flock of geese in formation. The purpose is that one was pointless and bound to end in failure, meaning that it didn't have it basically, yeah, just a phrase. Now it's a UK phrase, um, but basically it was like it was a pointless venture. So fun stuff. Yeah, get me 100 feet of shoreline. We used to do that one too. That was something for the new hull technicians or the new boatswains. Um, hey, I need a bite of rope. I need a bucket of steam. Oh man, those were fun. You guys have any of those old ones? You other ones you used to do? What about you, Paula? There has to be some Air Force ones that you guys used.
The only one that I can remember doing is having we used to tell the trainees that they had to salute the planes when they flew overhead because there were officers inside the planes. And they did it. And we
Until
would
somebody
always
asked them what they were
every
doing.
every Air Force base you will ever go to, you can find jackrabbits. Every single Air Force base you go to, there's jackrabbits. So
I
you
believe
have to
that's true.
you get them to try to catch a jackrabbit for a promotion.
And if they actually catch one, what happens?
Well, they probably get in trouble.
Yeah, we used to have a bunch of those in the Navy. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, every Air Force base has a Popeye's chicken and jackrabbits.
Oh, Popeye's chicken is an absolute fact.
Popeye's chicken
Doesn't
and
matter
jackrabbits.
where you
Yep.
go, Minot,
Hmm.
Lake and Heath.
Yeah,
It
doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter. You'll find a Popeye's chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't lick a gift horse in the mouth. So Rockzilla, I love that one. My granddad used to use that all the time. And is the Eric, do you know that without looking that one up, do you know the premise behind that one?
Well, I know what it means, but I don't know where it came from.
So it stems way back. It's actually um, it kind of goes to Spain. There's kind of uh, controversy evidence on where this comes from. The ones that I've
Good.
seen, and I don't have it up right now, but they used to have like so in old times, like pre-colonial times, they would breed horses. They had these stallions. They were good in the Middle East and they were good in Spain. They had these beautiful horses. And sometimes the horses wouldn't meet standards for either royal guard or for the royal family or whatnot. And they would gift it to somebody else. And basically, people would look at their teeth and they would look to see what shape they were in to try and identify what the flaw was. And the don't look a gift horse in the mouth was, you know, don't they somebody just gave you an amazing gift. Don't look for the flaw in it.
Yeah.
Um, and I really like this one because it ties to some of the other ones where you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Hmm.
And that is, be grateful for the things that you're given. Look to the positives of the adventure that happens. Quit looking for the negative in everything you do. I have a son that e- every Christmas, it never failed, would get him a gift, but it wasn't the right one. Oh well, God, it would have been so much cooler if this one was the one I got. We bought him a gaming computer. It's like, oh man, but it doesn't have solid state drives. And it was always the negative. So one Christmas we talked about it. We just didn't get him a gift, and it was like, you know
Boy,
what? you know what we did? And he's like, no. It's like, we didn't get you a gift. And he's like, why? It's like, there's nothing for you to complain about. You have no need to complain. And he learned very, very quickly after that I better not complain about getting gifts. These are not things that we have to give them. These were things that we wanted to do with them, right? We wanted to make sure that we gave them the things that they were looking for, but you're not always going to get everything you want. And so the 1 year, and it totally changed the way he looked at things. Um, but yeah, I always like, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. An old horse can
And the
tell you their age.
origin, I had to look it up. You
Hmm.
would never guess where the origin comes from. It's biblical.
Oh, is it that bad? Is it that old?
Oh yeah, 400 A.D. Saint Jerome making a commentary on Paul's letter, and in Latin it's noli equi dente inspiracy donate. It's never inspect the teeth of a given horse, is what the translation is. But yeah, I would have never known that.
Eric says you can tell their age by their teeth. Yeah, I mean, there's a number of reasons, but again, it was one my granddad taught me very well. Is uh, somebody just gave you a gift, even if you had an old horse, there were things that you could do. 949. That was the year that Frosty killed Santa. No, that was the
Hmm.
year I taught my kid respect. The difference
Speak
between,
softly and carry a big stick. That's a good one.
yeah,
American in origin.
fairly recent too, 60s, 40s, 60s.
No, 20s.
Is it that? Is that
Teddy
old?
Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah. So
I
there's a
think it's
lot
the
of
20s.
these. There's a lot of these out there, but my grandfather was really big on idioms. Um, because he learned through, and you'll hear me do this too. Um, that I like to do analogies, right? To allow that people an opportunity to kind of tie something to something else. So I love idioms and I love the analogies that are utilized in them. So I thought this would just be fun um, to have some people kind of throw some of these things out, kind of look up a couple of these items. I know it's not numismatic; some of them were, but just to kind of chit chat and just kind of do something a little bit different. Not so
But
much.
most of them have origin uh, about money because most of them are actually about money.
A lot of them are about money, yeah,
Yeah.
but not all of them, right? But yeah, again, it just thought it would be something fun to do. Plus, I'm just waiting for Mad Stacker to come on up so that we can kind of talk about this Premier Train. So, for those of you who don't know what the Premier Train was or is, the Premier Train was 8 people that started 4 years ago who got together to do 15-minute videos. Now, these videos ranged from metal detecting to searching through coins to unboxing to pouring copper, silver, discussions about gold, spot price, uh, looking at new stickers, designs, general chit chat, and it was something that 8 people would get together, do anywhere from a 10 to 12, 13-minute video, and every Saturday starting at 10 Eastern, 11 or 11 Eastern, 10 Central, they would start this up. And speak of the devil, Mr. the Madman is here himself. Good morning, Mad.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good
How you
morning.
doing, brother?
Good morning.
I'm doing really well. How are you?
Good. We were just telling everybody what the Premier Train was about. So instead of me doing it, why don't you give everybody a history of the Premier Train and the story and what's
Ooh,
going
a
on there?
history. All right. So, history. Once upon a time, 4 years ago, um, I launched my channel on August 1st of 2020, and obviously I had been around the community for 4 or 5 months before then. But my first video launch, like actual content, was August 1st. Was working with Yankee, getting guidance, a lot of those different things. And, just had a group of folks that I hung out with. And there was a really good friend that I'd made. His name was Ink Scars. And Ink Scars was a new stacker, very similar to me. And a lot of people, why can't I see comments? That's weird.
Oh, because
Do I
I'm
need to be
not
on?
streaming on StreamYard.
You're one of those weird people.
Yeah.
I get it. All right, give me 1 second. I want to be able to see the chat.
Just make sure you mute the YouTube side.
Of course. Apologize for the break.
No, it's okay. You have a lot of people saying hi. So I asked Mad to
Yeah,
come up
I
and
hate
do
ignoring
this.
people. All right, here we are. I got it here.
Yeah, so
All
I
right,
asked Mad to
so
come up and have this discussion. So
Ink Scars and I were starting to put out videos, and we were, we did a lot of things together and ideas and talking and things like that. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to do a premiere video. It was, I think, my second premiere. I just learned how to do it. So I'm going to do a premiere video. Why don't you do a premiere video right after me, and then I can share the link to your video, and we can bring everybody from my video to your video. So we did that the first weekend, and it worked, and it was fun. Now, at the time, why it ended up being 15-minute videos was because we didn't even know that you could change it to anything other than 15-minute increments, first of all. And then, of course, for organization purposes, as it grew, it became paramount. But the next week we had, I want to say it was Silver Husky and a guy named Stu Deasy on. And then by the third week, there were 6 of us. It was myself, Ink Scars, Pirate Stacker, Silver Husky, Stu Deasy, and Patriot Stacker. We're all in.
we might have lost Mad. Mad, are you still there? I think we lost his cell signal.
Yeah, I don't hear him anymore. He glitched out.
Yeah, I know he was
All
going.
right, so I don't know if I
There
muted
you are.
myself or
We got you now.
StreamYard's muted me. What was
No, you glitched out. You went roboty and then disappeared.
Yeah, so we just started doing that, and then I think about a year in, we bumped it up to 8, and that's kind of where it stayed. And it was just a place for in my mind, when I started it and it started to gain some traction, it felt like Saturday morning cartoons, right? Like you can remember being excited to get up and watch Saturday morning cartoons. Well, I was trying to create that for adults in this community. And you got to realize back then there weren't streams everywhere. There weren't, gaming hadn't taken over, and uh, coin roll hunting was a thing, but it wasn't like even crazy yet. So there weren't a lot of people doing lives. There weren't a lot of people doing premieres. So it was almost like, I can remember when I first found the YouTube community. I can remember setting my schedule, like setting reminders for myself when the next stream I wanted to watch would be. And it's not like now when, hey, whenever you have free time, you can hop on and somebody's streaming. It used to be like you had to make sure you didn't miss these things because they were few and far between. Some days there may only be 1 or 2 lives in the community. So this was kind of just a place to gather for Saturday morning. It was a place that um, would kind of hold people over to the next coin roll hunt or the next talk show or whatever was going on, kind of deal. And it was just kind of a fun place to be, and it kind of became a labor of love, and I really enjoyed doing it, and I got to meet a lot of people and just really see a lot of cool people do a lot of cool stuff. We had everything from preppers and stackers to like Big Red Bullion and his pours. The Wolf 56, he did some amazing pour videos over the years. Just a lot of great stuff. I am having a world of trouble getting into your chat. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay. I was like, am I gone again?
No, you're here. If anybody asks any questions, I'll relay them to you. You're good.
Well, I'm not going to give up.
Everybody's just saying hi right now.
Well, hi, everybody. As soon as I can see your names, I will respond directly. Oh, I'm in. Let's go. Come on. We got Mrs. Coin Crew in the building. That's the first person I saw. Yeah. So, of course, Frosty came along and helped us take it even to the next level. It was always, especially when we brought somebody new in, it was always a mess because we had to teach that person, how do you make mods, right? Who are the people on the train that need to have a wrench so we can post the videos at the end of your video to make sure everybody finds their way over to the next one. Um, and then now, right? Frosty, well, obviously YouTube developed it, but Frosty kind of pioneered it on the train, and that's the auto redirect, right? And literally used to talk about, wouldn't it be cool if we didn't have to do that, if we could just set it to do it automatically. And then YouTube came out with it, and Frosty taught us all how to do it. And um, Wild West said the real question is, when does Mad sleep? He was live until mid. I was live until after 1 last night, and I had work meetings already this morning. So, uh, yeah, Wild West, you have no idea for sure. But if anybody has any questions, I'd love to answer those questions. I don't know that I could fill an entire 30 minutes with the history. Other than if you want me to start naming off people that were on it, I can do that. But
Well, the
Why are
reason
you
that I got
discontinuing it?
on the Premier Train was because of an unfortunate situation that happened with Wild West. Um, and so I came in as a temporary fill in the Premier Train, and then I was there for quite a while before I just was doing too much, and so I wasn't able to sustain. But the thing that I really liked about the Premier Train, the thing that I enjoyed it is, um, as somebody who was trying to get monetization and trying to get my hours, I was
yes,
doing live streams, but that was a guaranteed, video every week. It forced me to make sure that something was done. Always tried to improve my product. I had a bunch of people that would come in, really kind of uh, helped me think about, like, how can I structure something where people are getting something different? Like, there was so much different stuff on there. You'd have Ringmaster Ray, who was doing metal detecting, and then you'd have John, who would come in and do gold panning, and you have
yeah,
um, Wild West. You'd have Gold Sniping Farmer. He would come and talk about making hot sauce. um,
yeah,
and
right.
so there was
Wild
just
West was always, when you have the train cars, some of them are really nice, and some of them are like you don't want to walk in those. Wild West was always the fancy train car. You know what I mean? Like he was always the guy with the fancy stuff on the table.
Well, it was fun to just be able to go through, and it didn't matter what the videos were. Um,
Yeah,
we had people that were doing unboxings. We would have people that did um, silver pouring, gold or gold bars or whatever. They'd talk about spot price, or you talk about the new coins that came out. I had a number of numismatic related items where we talked about looking at specific coins, or referencing a cool story that was there, or Miss Coin Crew played with her silver pores and got crazy one day. I mean, it just was a lot of fun for people to put out just some random stuff and have fun, but really engage. It was a 2 hour block, 8 people, 15 minutes apiece, that just allowed people to come in and get to know other people in the community. A lot of new people found the channels that way, and it was something that was a lot of fun. But what a lot of people didn't see, and this is one reason that I wanted Mad to come up and talk about this, was that there was a ton of work involved in coordinating this premiere train. So I want you guys to let Mad just kind of talk about some of this stuff when he talks about coordination, what needed to happen, how it needed to happen, because I want you guys to really appreciate this was a this was a labor of love by Mad. He worked his tail off for years, um, being at every stream that was on, making sure to say hi to people, coordinating days in advance, staying on top of people for video creation. So, if you'll talk a little bit about what was required there, I think a lot of people just quite might not understand all that went into the logistics of the premiere train.
Yeah, so that, I mean, obviously that was the hardest part very often. And when you're dealing with real people, there's life, right? So finding the balance of, you know, when do you give grace for life, and when do you hold people to a certain standard, right? And oftentimes failing to hold myself to that standard. And like, as of right now, we have two people that said they wanted to be on this train and responded, and their videos haven't been posted. So it's very likely, and I can't go back and change 15 people to change their times last minute. So we very will likely have two derailments today. And that was just kind of part of, I mean, we started calling it derailments because that's, you make it fun and you just kind of go with the flow. But life be lifing. So just the management of that on the backside, and wanting people to be available for the train and not just for their own premiere. For a lot of people, with a lot of times we don't realize as streamers, and we're not celebrities by any means, but there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in this community that do not make videos, and they are not exposed to the world of video making and what it looks like behind the scenes. And they come to us, they come to this community for information, for entertainment, for fun, for something to do when they're bored. So all those things matter. So for me, keeping the train intact was super important. And sending out the schedule and making sure, uh you know and sometimes there were people on the train that weren't necessarily the right person to be in front of or behind somebody, right? So um our private message is like, hey, I really can't be behind this person, or I don't feel comfortable sending my people into this person's room, whatever that looks like. And just balancing that. The term herding cats comes to mind, but it's just a lot of great people. But of course, there's always going to be that human element, right? And like Mrs. Coin Crew said in in the chat earlier, and I think you may have mentioned it too, Frostbite. It kind of holds you to make sure that you're putting out your video each week. And I can't tell you how many times I've been up at 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday night or Saturday morning trying to get my video out when they were due by Thursday, right? Uh, Kind of deal. So it's just, you hold yourself to that standard, which is good for your channel, right? To be consistent. And I try to keep people in the same time slots for whenever possible, from week to week, because what'll happen is, not everybody comes and rides the train. There are people that only go watch their people, So you want to make it to where people automatically know that, hey, Mrs. Coin Crew, she's going to be on at 11:45 on Saturday morning. That's just when Mrs. Coin Crew goes on, right? They know that Ringmaster Ray, he's going on at 11:30 on Saturday mornings. That's just when he goes on, kind of deal. And it's just having that structure and keeping everything together in the back and making sure that people are posting the link in their chat to push everybody to the front of the train, whether it's Will's Treasures or it was the Wolf 56 for a long time. We've had a lot of people that were um, the front of the train over the years, but making sure that comment and video link were posted so everybody that saw you scheduled your premiere on Thursday, they get a notification and they go look and they're like, oh, there's a premiere. Oh wait, this is actually something more than just a premiere. How do we get involved in that? Let me go find this new guy. And one of the biggest things that the premiere train did, especially early on, when there was a lot of new channels involved, and that's people always told me, and so I had one really big guy come and try to be part of the train, and I'm not gonna say what channel it was, but let's just say he dresses in Star Wars gear, um, but wanted to do things his way, but was all about like, hey, you're gonna get a lot of benefit from me being here for you, but this is how I want it to be done. And I turned that down because this wasn't about big people bringing something to me. This was about little people supporting little people and getting a couple new subs every weekend by being consistent, by following the process, and by being part of a team. And that's what it's all about. And if somebody that was only at a couple hundred subs was trying to get their subs up, this was a great place to start. This was a great place to get introduced to the community without any cost, right? You're not having to go out and spend a bunch of money or do it. You can just make a video and be here, and it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have. You don't have to have the best unboxing. You don't have to have the coolest things. Uh, I can't remember for sure what it was. I don't know if it was fish or worms, but Will's Treasures did a video on raising fish one time. Like it can be, and he connected it because the money he made from that he put into his stack, right? So he did this side project to make extra money to put money to silver and gold, right? So yeah, so Wild West says, wait, not fancy silver, not understanding that. Yeah, it's fancy silver and knives only at the Wild West compound for sure. But it was about the little guy. It was about the little guy getting some attention that he would not have gotten otherwise.
Well, and that's
That was
why
a bit of a
that's why
long-winded
I
answer, but
enjoy it.
close.
One thing that was really nice about this was as I was nearing that 4,000 hour mark, it really helped me because I mean I was doing live streams periodically, but the one thing that live streams will do a little bit for you, but the video watches are really what are going to continue because if you have videos that people want to come back to, especially if you do something like evergreen content, that's the things that people are going to come back to. They may or may not watch your live stream depending upon how it is. And you may get some additional views, but your live streams don't grow nearly as fast as your video content does. And so it helped me understand making evergreen content. It also kind of helped me to expand certain areas to see if that was an area that I would like to go in, to try some new things. And I found that there were things that I really enjoyed that I probably would be better left to the people who are the professionals. So it gave me
Yeah,
opportunities to expand and try things in what I would consider a pretty loose environment. Like, people were like, "Hey, that was a good video." Not necessarily your cup of tea, but nice, nice go anyway. Very quickly realizing that I needed to stay out of those particular elements. I tried some finance stuff. I tried some stacking stuff. I tried some counterfeit detection type stuff, just random stuff to try to get a feel for um, what was it that I liked to do. And so
Yeah.
the thing that was nice was that it allowed, and the other thing that it allowed me to do was to find people who really were serious about learning how to do this and giving them an opportunity to reach out and say, "Hey, how can we help?" Because when I learned something on the Premier Train, I shared it with the whole team, and
Yeah.
it was that was fun. That's what I enjoyed. I hated having to leave. I just couldn't manage doing, two videos every week, two live streams every week, and maintain the time with my family that my wife was asking me to do. And
And
so,
that's why people would typically have to step out, because it can be too much. Like those there's been like Mrs. Coin Crew and some of like Triple P and some other people throughout the years. Mrs. Coin Crew, how long have you been on this train? It's been 2 or 3 years maybe at this point. That's not for everybody. Like it's a lot.
yeah,
Not missing a weekend, or maybe once a year. We did not do the premiere train one time in 4 years, and it was for Wounded Warrior. One time in 4 years. So it was always 3 years. She's been on this for 3 years. That's a long time. And Mrs. Coin Crew, let me just be the first to say thank you so much for all that you've given. There's a reason she was the final stop on the train for the last year or longer. That used to be a spot that I kept only for myself. Um, but nobody was more deserving than her for that spot. She was by far the consistently most entertaining video on the train. Not necessarily the most informative, not necessarily the most diverse, but the most entertaining and funny by far. And she only missed twice in 3 years, y'all. That's insane. She she creates stack envy throughout this entire community, because I don't know about y'all, but I want her stack. So what an amazing, amazing person to be on this journey with me for as long as she has. And to everybody else that thank you, Silver Shuttle Machine. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you came. And that's what it's about for me, is bringing people here, giving people a way to do what they love in a safe environment around good people. Now, is that 100% foolproof? No, it's not. But this community is by far, this community by yeah, Triple P is on the train. Yes, so is Big Red. Lots of people coming back. Stacks and stuff was coming back. Mill Stacks was coming back, but they had to back out last minute. Um, this community is by far, like Miss Ida says, best of the best. We're not 100%, but it is an amazing group of people, and I've just been honored to be part of anything involved with it, and to have 4 years. Um, it has been amazing. But like you said, the reason people sometimes have to go is because it's too much, and the family of everybody that's doing this. Trust me, it's not just the YouTuber that sacrifices to do this train every Saturday morning.
fact,
It's their family as well.
fact.
And because of the crazy work life that I have, my wife and I don't get a lot of time. So Saturdays is typically our time. And I can't tell you how many Saturday morning dates or trips to the market that she's put up with me watching and commenting and doing the premiere train, right? So it's been a labor of love for her as well. But I came to a point where I wanted to give her that
Come on.
undivided attention on Saturday mornings,
Hey,
and
Mad,
and that's what.
we got 2 minutes before we send everybody over to Will's Treasures. So I want to thank you, Paula and Eric. Thanks for coming up as always. Tomorrow will be more coin related stuff. I'll send you guys
Yep. Have a
All right.
great day,
details.
Yeah,
everybody. Love you
everybody have a
guys.
great day. See
Bye.
y'all tomorrow.
I want to leave with a
There you go.
statement, and it ties to what Mad said. And Mad and I have talked about stuff over the years. Mad is a brother of mine. We have many common thoughts on things. And I want to read this to you guys. This is something that I sent based off of a discussion that was had last night. In a world divided by our own people, we must understand that the viewpoints of others cannot be dismissed. Agree to disagree. But more importantly, when challenged with opposing criticisms, allow the open dialogue without using the following words: you don't, you can't, you won't, you aren't, you ain't, or you suck. Because none of these are conducive to conditions of free judgment. Folks, we're an opinionated society. I don't have to subscribe to your opinion, just as you don't have to subscribe to mine. However, we all owe it to each other to show respect. Much love, folks. We will see
The
you
link is pinned up
over.
top, y'all. We're headed over to Will's Treasures. Frostbite pinned the link.
I pinned the link over to Will's Treasures. We'll see you over there in just a moment. Much love. Thanks,
Thank
Matt,
you,
for
Frosty.
coming up.
Love you, brother.